So today we're going to do single area Ospf. So to start with, Ospf is a link state routing protocol. It uses the concept of areas. So an Ospf area is a group of routers that share the same link state information in their LSDBs. LSDBs means what? Means link state database. Now we have two ways of implementing Ospf. We have single area Ospf and multi-area Ospf. With single area Ospf, this means in all our commands that we'll be using on all our routers, we are going to use only one area. So area 0. So the best practice is to use area 0. Whereas for multi-area Ospf, all areas have to be connected. So we're going to have different areas in multi-area Ospf. For example, if we have area 51, we have area 100. So it all have to go through area 0. So while all the different areas have to go through area 0 is then known as the backbone area. Good. So when we are talking about Ospf, we are talking about the full form of Ospf is Open Shortest Path First. When we are configuring Ospf is known as a dynamic routing protocol. Just like EIGRP is a dynamic routing protocol. So Ospf is a dynamic routing protocol, but it is a link state routing protocol. When we are configuring Ospf, so this is the way we configure. We write router Ospf. Then here we have to put the process ID. So the process ID can be any number from 1 to 65,535. All right, so now for example, I'm going to here to configure Kilimanjaro. Let's put router Ospf 10. All right, so here we have this network and this network. So here we have network 75.0.0.0. Now it is a /27. With Ospf, we're going to use wildcard mask. So /27, we know the subnet mask is /27, we know the subnet mask is 255.255.255.224. All right. Now the wildcard mask here now how are we going to calculate the wildcard mask? So for /27, the wildcard mask, we're going to calculate it this way. We'll do 4 times 255. Then we're going to minus 255.255.255.224. So now when we do this here, when we minus 255 minus 255, it's going to give me 0.0.0, and here it's 31. So the wildcard mask for /27 is 0.0.0.31. Now here we're going to put 0.0.0.31. So since today we are doing single area Ospf, and I told you the best practice is to use area 0. Here we're going to put area 0. So I've configured this network. Now we're going to configure another network. 13.0.0.0. It's a /30. /30, it's what? /30. The subnet mask is 255.255.255.252. So we have here, we need to replace it with 252. We're going to minus, we're going to get 0.0.0.3. This is mathematics. So 0.0.0.3. And again, we are doing single area SPF. I'm going to use the same area everywhere. Area 0. So this way, while we are putting those network, while we are configuring this protocol, it's because so that all the routers will learn which networks are connected with a router, so that they know they have to go through this router to reach this destination. All right. So now here, so when we are configuring the OSPF on the router, it will send routing updates. For OSPF, it's going to send updates whenever the router topology changes. Now, here the router will send the routing update to all the interfaces because it doesn't know which interface has a router connected. It's going to take the routing update and send it on all interfaces. So if an interface does not have a router connected to it, then what will happen? It's going to consume bandwidth uselessly because it's going to keep on sending the routing update. It's consuming bandwidth. So for this reason, here we don't have any router connected. So on this interface, we'll make it a passive interface. So when I configure passive interface, passive dash interface, the interface is gig 0/0/0. So when we configure passive interface, the router knows we are not going to send a routing update on this interface. Good. Another thing that you should know is that we can configure each router can be identified by a router ID. So we can configure here router dash ID. Let's say for Kilimanjaro, I put it 1.1.1.1. It cannot be same on, everyone will have a unique router ID. Okay. So now let's say here, I'm going to copy this and I'm going to install it on Kilimanjaro. CLI here. It's configured. Well, since it has taken another router ID, it's telling me to clear IP OSPF process so that it takes this ID. But before I do this, I'm going to show you something. Let's write in memory here. So I'm going to say show IP protocols. Check here. It has taken 75.0.0.1 as router ID. It hasn't taken router ID 1.1.1 yet. It had taken one automatically, 75.0.0.1. Why is it 75.0.0.1? Now, router ID, when I'm going to clear IP OSPF process, then restart my router, it's going to take the one that I have configured. But to start with, there are 3 ways a router ID can be obtained. It takes a value configured by the administrator. This is the first value it has to take. The value configured by the administrator. Second, if no router ID has been configured, it's going to take the highest loopback address. I haven't configured the loopback address on this router, so it's not going to take it. If loopback address not configured, then it takes the highest IPv4 address. So here the highest IPv4 address is this 75.0.0.1. 13.00.1 is here. So which is highest? 75 is higher than 13. So that's why it has taken this IP address as the router ID. So router ID is a 32-bit value used to uniquely identify an OSPF router. It is an IPv4 address. Now I want to take the one I have created because there was one already on it. So I'm going to do clear IP OSPF process. Now I'm going to say reload. I'm going to reboot my router, restart my router. Good. So now here we've restarted the router. Now let's see, show IP protocols. Here we get it now. If a router ID is now, you can see it here. It's 1111. All right, and these are the two networks that's connected to area 0. Fushimi will not understand if it's going to receive the routing update, but it will not understand until router OSPF 10 is configured there. Because OSPF 10 can only talk with OSPF 10. So now we're going to configure Fushimi. So I've used the router OSPF 10. I'm going to configure the same. It must have the same process ID. So we use Wildcard mouse. This is the network I'm advertising, 189.168.10.0. It says /24. So it's /24. The subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. Wildcard mouse would be 00.255. Area 0. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 networks with Fushimi. Uh, 13.0.0.0/30. So it's here, it's free. Area 0. We have a network here. It's 15 .0.0.0.0.000.free area 0. Then we have this also, it's a /30. So network 12.0.0.0.000.free area 0. So we have these 4 networks. Now here we have a gigabit interface. So this gigabit interface that is not connected with a router, and it's gig 0/0/0. So this becomes passive because it's not connected with a router, so it becomes a passive interface. I don't want the routing table to be advertised on this link, on this interface. If I want to put a router ID to it, I can put it here, but I'm not going to use it because I'm going to show you something with it. Good, so here it is. So we write memory to save the configuration. Good. So we've configured Fushimi. Now, let's do a show IP route. When we have, this is our routing table. Show IP route will display the routing table. So here we have C, 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 and C. This means it's directly connected to the network. So this is directly connected to Fushimi. This is directly, we have 4 directly connected to Fushimi networks that are directly connected to Fushimi. That's why I have 4 Cs. Now 75.0.0.0, it's a remote network because Fushimi has to cross Kilimanjaro to come to 75.0.0. It has to pass through Kilimanjaro, then reach. Here it becomes a remote network for Fushimi because it has to cross a router to reach here. So it is a remote. That's the only remote network so far. But because I've configured Ospf, that's why it learned this remote network. Here I haven't configured yet, so it hasn't learned yet. So it's 75.0.0.0. And you see here we have 110. So 110 stands for the administrative distance. So Ospf has an administrative distance of 110. EIGRP has an administrative distance of 90. RIP has an administrative distance of 120. The smaller the administrative distance is, this is the fastest, this is what the router will use as the fastest route to the destination. So for example, if I had an EIGRP configured on my router, which has administrative distance 90, by default it's 90, and I have Ospf also configured on the same router, it will rather choose the route of EIGRP than Ospf because Ospf, the administrative distance is 110 and EIGRP is 90, so you'll prefer to use EIGRP route rather than Ospf. But we can change this. If we want the router to select Ospf instead of those which have a lower administrative distance, so we can put Ospf, we can change it to another value so that it uses this route. Good. This is for Fushimi. Now we have here, we're going to configure this one. Now I am on Alaska. Alaska has got, before we go further, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I need to have 5 Cs in my routing table. Let's see. So to get my routing table is show IP route. Since I'm doing it in the global configuration mode, so I'm going to put a do in front of it. Do show IP route. And as I told you, we need to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 C's on it. So Ospf, there is no O here because Ospf has not been configured yet. So now we're going to configure Ospf. This is the process ID network. That's the command we're going to use. So we have 1.15.0.0./30. Yeah, 15.0.0.0. 255. No, sorry. It's wildcard mask that we use. So it's 0.0.0.3 area 0. This is for the first one. The second one, it's 16.0.0.0, and it's a /30. So again, it's 0.0.0.3 area 0. This is for this network. Next network we have, it's 17.0.0. It's also a /30, so it's 0.0.0.3 area 0. 15 I have configured, 16 I have configured, 17 I have configured. Now I'm going to configure 195. Network 195.168.11.0. 0.0.0. No, it's 255 because it's /24 255.255.255.0, which becomes a 0.0.0.255 area 0. So this is for this one. Now this one, we have to configure this one. It's which network? 75, I haven't configured yet. No, we have 172.0. Yeah, it's 72.0.0. Come back here. Network 72.0.0.0 /30. So 0.0.0 dot. Is it /30? Let me check here. It's 72. No, it's a /24 gigabit 00 here. It's a /24. So .255 area 0. If I don't want it to summarize the root, so I say no auto summary. No, I can't put it here. Okay, and passive interface. We have gig 01 as a passive interface, gig 00 as another passive interface. Right memory. Good. So I've done for Alaska. I do for Manchester. Router Ospf 10. network 36.10.0.0.000.255 area 0. So we have these two networks here. Passive interface, we have one, gig 00, gig 0/0. All right. Good. Now I'm going to show you something. Right memory. So if I have well configured, this should already be able to connect with this. Right, successful. PC1 laptop 0, PC1 laptop 0, it's successful. It hasn't synchronized yet. So here again I'll do it. PC1 laptop 0, successful. So here to reach PC1 and laptop 0, we have to cross this router, this router, this router, then reach this remote network. So for this reason, so we have well configured these routers because we're able to reach the remote destination, this site. Now I'm going to configure, let's check for Manchester. I have just configured Manchester. So here I'm going to put this and laptop 0, and here also it is successful. It is PC4 with laptop 0. It's successful. You can see it here, PC4 laptop 0. Check my cursor. So this means this network has been well configured. Now we have to configure this part. Let me show you something first. Delete this. We have here, we are on Mali. I haven't configured Ospf yet on Mali. So it's going to tell me it's failed because I haven't yet configured router Ospf on Mali. I'm going to configure now. We have how many networks on Mali? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's network that's configured on Mali. We have 12.0.0.0. Area 0. Mali, yeah, it's 11.00. That's good. Mali has got this one also, 17.0.0. So we have this, and this. We have to configure this one on Mali. We have this also on Mali. So we have network here, 195.168.10.0. 0.0.255. Then I have an area 0 behind. Okay. So now I want to show you something. This is a passive interface, which I'm not going to configure yet. Or I configure it. this is a gig 00, I guess. Gig 000. Good. I've configured Mali, so now this network also should be able to reach laptop 0. It was successful. I'm just deleting it, doing again this and this. This is the Mali. This network has already been configured. So you see it's successful. PC2 to laptop 0, it is successful. So I have well configured Mali. Let's do something here. I'll do on Kilimanjaro. Okay, I'll do something on Kilimanjaro. Show IP route. So now Kilimanjaro should get this network in 195.168.10.0. Here it is. Again, it is because it is Ospf, it's 110. Now I'm going to make a change. I'm going to say no passive interface. Gig 0/0. This means now I'm going to say, okay, if we have to send routing updates, you can send it here on this one, on this interface. Although I know there is no router, I'm just showing you something. Now I'm going to show you something. It is successful. Although it's sending routing update here, it will be successful obviously because no passive interface means sending routing updates on all the interfaces and all the links. Now, I'm going to make a change here. I'm going to say passive interface default. When I say passive interface default, this means it's going to take all the interfaces as passive. So it's not going to send routing updates on any other interfaces. So if it's not going to send a routing update, this means if there is a change in topology, you will not be able to access this one. All right. This we're going to try, we're going to check it later. Let's do here because I give it some time to synchronize. Okay. So here we are on Albania. Router Ospf 10. One 168.10.0. Albania, we are. Network 172.168.10.0. It's a /27, so it's 000. /27 means 224 here, so it's 31. This one, yeah, 00031. Area 0. We are in Albania, so we have this network as well, 11.0.0.0. And 11.0.0, it's a 0.0.0.3. Am I right? 0, 0, 0.3. Good. Area 0. Dot 0 here. Good. Next we have, with Albania, we have 10.00. Okay. Now let's check something. I have just configured this network. Mali would not have received the routing update. And Albania didn't receive these routes from Mali because all this is default and this is a new network added. Passive interface here I put gig 0/0/0. Okay, so I haven't configured for Bali. Let me configure for Bali now. Now, before I configure for Bali, I want to explain to you here. So now you will see it's not going to reach this network. Failed. I'll do it again. It's going to fail again. Because I've put passive interface default here, that's why it's going to fail. Because it's not sending any routing update on any of its interfaces. Now we're going to say, so I'm going to reopen all. I'm going to say no passive interface. To reopen each interface, so no passive interface, I'm on Mali, right? So serial 0 to 1 cannot be a passive interface. Okay, so now this is no longer a passive interface. Here serial 0, 1, 0 again, no passive interface, serial 0, 1, 0. Serial 0, 2, 0. Now let's see if it has learned from Mali, from Albania. Let's see if it has learned. Albania has got 172 dot. Here it has learned 168.10.0. Here it's learned. Ospf 110, the administrative distance. Now let's do this PC should be able to reach here. I'm going to delete it so that you see it first. Here we are Albania. We haven't configured Bali yet. Oh, it's not coming. This one and this one. It hasn't synchronized yet, maybe. It's coming. Do it here now. Now successful, good. So now this one and this one should ping. Yeah, now it's successful, laptop 0 and laptop 3. Good. So here it's something. Now I want to show you something else. Let's say here I want to configure a static root. And this, I want to configure a static root in Albania. First, I'll show you the IP root. Show IP root. So I haven't configured any static root on Albania. So now I'm going to configure a static root. I'm going to say to reach 75.0.0. IP root is a static root. Here to reach this network here, Kilimanjaro network, I'm going to tell it, okay, 255.255.224. In Albania, it has to go through most probably Syria 021. No, it's on global configuration mode. IP root 75.0.0.0 255.255.254. And we are in Albania, I think. So it's on serial 021. It's here as we're configuring, okay? Yeah, it's good. Serial 021. This is the exit interface. I haven't configured default root yet. All right. If I want to configure default root also, let me configure here 0000000. I'll say, okay, default root, let's say serial 021 only. Now, router Ospf 10. Global configuration mode, router Ospf 10. So I want to send the default route together in the routing update. Together with the Ospf different networks, I want to send the default route together. So the command I'm going to use here, it's default information originate. This is to send the default route together in the routing update. Next, we have, if I have to send static routes, like this is a static route, which I've configured here, then we can say redistribute, guess it works here, redistribute static. Okay, but redistribute static would work only with classful, the one which has a classful network. Subnet mask like /24 / classful networks. But classful networks, we are going to put redistribute static to send the static route together in the routing update. Good. Next, what I want to show you is I'm going to configure on Mali. I'm going to configure here on the interface. We have interface serial 021. I'm on Mali. Okay, so check what I can configure here. Maybe is IP. After IP, can I put Ospf? Yes. IP Ospf. Then these are the different commands I can put after it. Hello interval. I'm going to put a hello interval, let's say every 20 seconds, Mali has to send to Albania a message, a hello message, a hello packet. So how I'm going to configure it. Dead interval, I would have put dead interval here. So it has to configure same here. Put it 20. So here also, I put it on Albania. Again, it has to be on interface. Albania, it's serial 011, I guess. IP, Ospf, hello. It has to be the same value configured on Mali. So it's 20. But the router that is connected directly to it. All right, so that's how we configure hello interval. Okay. Next, we have Mali. We configure router Ospf 10. Network, we have 172.15.20.0 0.255. Area 0. Here we have the other network is network of Bali. It's here and 10.0.0.0. 10.0.0.0 0.0.0.3. Area same, area 0. Passive interface. Passive interface. Gig 0/0/0. Default information. If I had configured a default route, then it's default information originates here. Okay, all right. So now I want to make my laptop 2 work with remote networks. So if a router has already learned it, so it's going to say successful. This is going to take some time. It's successful. So here and here can talk. So they are already in remote network. It's accessible. Now, one other thing I want to show you. I'll show you on Fushimi. Show IP route. So you see it has learned. Wherever we have O, this means it is Ospf has been applied. So you see the distance here, the administrative distance is 110 for Ospf. Let's say I want to say that I want to change the distance. Let's see if we can change the distance. Distance is here. So under router Ospf, we put, let's say I put distance 55, lower than an EIGRP. Now what happens? So IP route So now you see the OSPF to remote networks is 55. And here we are on Albania. I haven't configured OSPF distance. Is going by the default administrative distance 110. The static route, the default route has gone here. You see here, this is the metric. So I do a show IP protocols here. I see all the network. The router ID is 195 because I haven't configured the router ID. So it has taken the highest IP on the interface. When it received the last update, which interface is the passive interface. So IP OSPF, I think database. If I want to get the full LSDB displayed, okay, here it is, the full LSDB, the link state database to be displayed. So it's show IP OSPF database. If I want to see the neighbor, show IP OSPF neighbor. So we are on Alaska here. It tells you the neighbor routers, these three routers. So just use the question mark when you're going to go, you'll be able to learn what are the different commands you can apply. I think here we had put, we've put a hello update here. Show IP protocols. Show IP. IP topology, not topology, not how. OSPF, I've done it. Get these answering. That is. So show IP OSPF interface. Let's see what we can do with it. Finally, we have gig 0/0/0. So here you get all the details here. Process, router ID detail, the time intervals. What I was looking for. Show IP OSPF. So the time interval, the hello interval, you're going to get it. Show IP OSPF and the interface on which it is configured. So here it is. Show IP OSPF interface gigabit 00. If I want to know for serial 020, the hello update was different. Here the default is hello interval, default is 10. 10. 10 is 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 10. – 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 。 。 . 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 is it here? Show IP Ospf show IP Ospf serial 021 interface. I haven't enabled it. Okay. 011 we have. You can also go on an interface, apply an Ospf on it. If we have several Ospf configured on a router, and we say on this interface we want this Ospf to be configured to learn the routing update. Like for example, if I go on interface serial 011, we'll see it's on global configuration mode, interface serial 011, and I'm going to tell it, okay, I'm going to enable the Ospf on it. Let's say we had different Ospf of different process ID. Like I have 10. If I had 15 to apply to it, when I say on this interface, it's only the routing update 15 that can go through here. For example, okay, when the area that follows, etc. 0, okay. IP Ospf. This, if I want a routing update of this Ospf with 15 process ID in the area 0, so we have to put it on the interface. On the interface. So that's what we have to do. So that's it. Thank you.